It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Eva Seliger, and your maiden name was Sulzbacher. We're here in your beautiful apartment in Golders Green. And Eva, you spent a few years in South Africa as well.
14 years, yeah.
14 years. Thank you so much, Eva. I so appreciate it. But Eva, you originally were born in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about your family?
I was born in Frankfurt in 1932, and my parents came. It's all actually written in here. I don't know if I should start from here, and then you ask me questions as we go along.
I'm going to start again.
Yeah.
It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Eva Seliger, and your maiden name was Sulzbacher, and you were born in Frankfurt, and here we are in your beautiful apartment in Golders Green in London, but you also spent time in Johannesburg. And Eva, if you could tell us a little bit about your family history.
Okay. I will read out to you what I wrote in May 2020, because the rest of the family, my husband's family, wanted to know what my background was and how I got through the war somehow or other. So here I am. This is what I wrote. Here I am in my garden, enjoying the spring sunshine and thinking about the war years so long ago. Some scenes are very clear in my memory, but about dates and length of time I'm a bit hazy. In about 1933, recognizing the clouds gathering on the horizon in Germany, my extended family decided to emigrate to England. My parents came over first to pave the way for the others. They brought with them my brother Lasse, but I was only a baby, so they had to leave me in a care home until my father could collect me a year or so later. I was just under 3 when I was reunited with my mother. Apparently it didn't take long for me to settle down and become a happy little girl. So far, so. Uncle Martin, that was my father's brother, and Aunt Hannah, then arrived in England shortly before the Second World War. They settled in Bethnal Road in North London, near my parents. With them came my grandparents, who had their own flat upstairs. I've had memories of joining my grandparents for Shabbos lunch. They kept the food warm for Shabbos in a hay box. I remember that impressed me greatly. Later, Auntie Fanny, my father's sister, and cousin Hannah and Eric arrived in London, lived with Uncle Martin and Aunt Hannah, while the third child, Julius, stayed with my parents. Lasse and Julius enjoyed making all sorts of models together. With the outbreak of war, Uncle Martin was sent to Australia because he was thought to be a dangerous alien, while Aunt Hannah and her small children were interned in the Isle of Man. Later, the 2 oldest children, Max and Walter, went to the Jewish school in Sheffield before returning to London. Parents were advised to send their children out of London away from the bombing. When I was 7 years old, Lasse, Julius and I were evacuated to Nebworth. Julius was billeted with a lovely lady, but our place was not that great. Our landlady made sure that we were not a bother for her. For instance, after school we had to play outside, then allowed in for supper and then sent straight to bed. My parents came visiting and decided to take us straight home. When the bombing actually started, we were again evacuated, this time to Lisrain in Wales. That's near Cardiff. We arrived there and we were taken to a hall. I can still see all the children going off with people who had chosen them, till we were the only ones who remained. Our parents had told us we must stay together, so we refused all offers unless both of us went. In the end, the organisers persuaded us to go to 2 houses next door to each other. We were happy there, as both houses were very nice people. My landladies were two elderly unmarried sisters who were very kind. They even took me to the seaside once. All was fine until the cheder teacher arrived and had to take over Lasse's billets so that he could be near to the school. So Lasse had to move out, and he was moved to a farm where he was expected to help out after school each day. He was only 10 years old at the time, but he seemed not to mind, and I saw him every day in school. In September 1940 came the terrible news that my parents, grandparents and Aunt Fanny were killed in a bombing raid. The house in Bessing Road received a direct hit. That night my parents had gone to keep the others company during the heavy raids. I can remember being told, but how I reacted is a complete blank. That feels strange. Mr. Jacobson, an old friend of the family, made all the necessary arrangements. In January 1941 came another tragedy. I was worried one day when Lasse was absent from school and was told he had a cold. It seems that his landlady sat up with him all night. In the morning he was taken to hospital, but it was too late. He had meningitis and passed away the next day. It happened just before his 11th birthday. A little boy all alone. He'd been a kind and caring brother to me. In time we were transferred to Sheffield to join a Jewish school which had been evacuated to the country. There we were billeted with the most unsuitable couple. He was a drunkard. She had her own children removed from her because she had tried to drown one of them. She was not unkind to us, and even quite like me. Used to say, "Little Eva, she's all right." Another memory from there is that every night for supper we were given hot tin pilchers. That will put me off pilcher for life. Somehow it was reported in the press that we were staying with strange people, and we moved from there to a very decent couple. They were from Catholics without children of their own, and they were very understanding of our religious requirements. This time it was only Hannah and me, and the boys went to a hostel. There were two more girls staying in our place. In the evening we used to do a handicraft with the landlady. Hannah even taught the husband to read Hebrew. They were very kind people. One memory I have from the time in Sheffield, when Hannah and I were paddling in a stream, a group of non-Jewish boys were throwing bricks nearby. One hit me on the head. I don't think it was on purpose, and there was a lot of blood. A group of onlookers didn't know what to do. So Hannah, she was only about 11 at the time, took charge. She wrapped my head in a towel and marched me off to the nearest doctor. A remarkable action for one so young. When Uncle Martin bravely returned to England, it was very dangerous to cross the oceans during the war, and Aunt Hannah was released from the Isle of Man. They rented a house in Golders Green, and they decided it was important to bring all the children back to try to give them a family home. When Uncle Martin arrived back, he had no money, no job, but he took the responsibility for all of us, his own children, Max, Walter, Leo, Mary, and the 4 extra children who were his nieces and nephews, Hannah, Eric, Julius, and me. Hannah and I lived with them, and Julius and Eric were in the hostel, but they came often for Shabbos and Yom Tov. We were warmly accepted the Sulzbacher family and soon became part of their lively gang. I shared a bedroom with my cousin Mary and Hannah, and since that time we are more like sisters than cousins. But I have a close relationship with all my cousins. As children, we were amused when people had trouble sorting us out, who were siblings and who were cousins. Uncle Martin and Aunt Hannah both worked extremely hard, but they were very good people. They didn't resent us. He had to build a new business from scratch, because in Germany he'd been a banker and could not do that job in London. He started a job from home selling Jewish books and other things like Glassman, and the back room became his office. The dusty books were stored all over the house. See? Even in the bedrooms. I sometimes helped out in the business, and when Uncle Martin and Aunt Hannah were away, I stayed back to look after the business. During the war years at home, we still had to live with the fear of air raids. When the sirens sounded, we all rushed down in the middle of the night and huddled under the air raid shelter, which was a huge metal table, until the all clear went off. The table was later used in the office room where my uncle Martin sews for him. I don't. This bit doesn't really. Right. My generation will remember how the back door was always opening in Forsyth Avenue, and people would be coming in all times of the day. The family was extremely hospitable. There were always visitors on the Shabbos table. On weekdays, Uncle Martin would always put business first, and even at mealtimes he would answer the door or the phone. He never restricted the hours, which Aunt Hannah didn't like that much, but he treated the customers well, and business did all right as a result. We also remember the lovely Shabbos afternoon. We also remember the lovely Sunday afternoon outings when we used to slip by bus or underground to have walks in the countryside. So you see, my fractured childhood here. So you see that in my fractured childhood here, there were some very positive things for which I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that's amazing. Eva, you have very precious photographs.
Oh, I didn't show them. Yeah.
So that is a picture of your
parents.
And you know where it was taken?
This was taken in divorce, where they met in home, because they both had. My father had TB because he'd been in the army, and my mother had chest problems. So they were in a sanatorium. And they met there, and that was taken before they were married even.
So this is from Germany?
Yeah. The divorce, Switzerland.
From the
yeah. They were sent to the sanatorium in Switzerland to cure them.
And your mother, where was she from?
She was from Germany as well. Right, the place was called, I think.
Yeah, other...
This is
from Davos?
The Davos is Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
So they both were recuperating in
exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What a special... And that's where they met?
Yeah. This is a photograph of me and my mother and my brother.
You look a very, very happy child.
Yeah. It was written more for the families, so it's...
And you have another...
Oh yeah, there's another one. This is a nice picture of her.
And can I just ask, Eva, did you ever ask your parents, it must have been extremely difficult to leave you behind when they came to England for that year?
I never asked, no, because I was a little girl. I was 3 years old.
Who were you left with when they came to England?
In a baby home.
A Jewish baby home?
Yeah.
And do you have any memories from it, or you were too young?
No, none at all. I've got no memories of Germany at all. I remember my father came to fetch me, and I remember at first when I was home, I remember I always went to my father because he was the one who took me, but there was a happy atmosphere at home. I wasn't...
And you were close with your mother as well?
Yeah.
And what happened to the extended family of your parents?
Well, they were killed.
Were they all remained in?
No, they were killed in the bombing.
And those, did you have family that remained in Germany as well?
Not close family, no. On my mother's side, her parents, and they went into Theresienstadt and didn't survive. Yeah.
And can I ask, even it's such a hard question, how did you, it's such a tragedy, how did you overcome, or can you ever overcome such a tragedy?
It was wartime, and lots of children lost their parents, and especially in Sheffield, half of them, the parents left behind. I think you just accepted it. That was happening in wartime. But as I say, I can't remember how I reacted when I was told the news that I had been killed. I can't remember at all. My cousin Hannah remembered that she cried. I can't remember. I must have cut it out of my mind completely.
And your emunah, did you after going through such a trauma, did you always keep your emunah?
Oh yeah.
It was instilled within you.
Yeah. When we were with the non-Jewish people, it was a bit difficult, But luckily these two ladies were vegetarians, so that was...
And have you ever gone back to Germany?
No. Yeah, with my husband once, but...
And did you go to Frankfurt?
No, didn't want to do that. No.
And Eva, can I just ask, because thank God your parents had the insight to leave Germany.
Yeah, I think it was my Uncle Martin who was he saw that it was time to leave. But that was really in 1934 they left. Hitler's just come in about, didn't he? When did he?
Because there were many people that thought it would be a passing phase or it wouldn't last that long.
No.
And what message do you relate to the future generations? Because you've really seen so much in your lifetime.
I think to always be positive and appreciate the good things in life. I think that's so important.
It's a wonderful message, and it's just wonderful that you have these memories of your parents.
Yeah.
So I just want to show, it's such a beautiful picture of your parents. And even with regard to remaining from, that was never, there were never doubts or...
Never.
That is very special. That's so I just would like to thank you. So Eva, I'm so grateful to you. This has been such an honor and a privilege to meet you again, because in Johannesburg from Adassi Shuren, I also used to pop into Adassi Shuren, and I'm very grateful to Ellie for making the introduction. And you should just only have mazel and brocha at Me'evesrim in good health and a Shana Tova, and only all of Hashem's blessings.
Amen. Thank you very much.
And I so appreciate it, Eva.
I hope